Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to your family's mental wellness. This is Reverend Victor. Welcome. Today we have a good one for you. Today we're going to be talking about 7 keys to healthy step parenting. 7 things that I'm going to give us on steps you can take if you are in a blended family relationship or in a blended family setting. We're going to set up what we can do to maintain it. Um, like if you married before and you're going into a new marriage and you have children, that's called blended family. If you have been married before and you're going into a relationship, going into marriage, and your partner also have children, that's complicated one. That's so we even have more reason why you need the skills. There are 7 of them. I'm gonna go through them real quick. Real quick. One is that before you even become a, a step parent, that should have been discussed. Before you get into it, get the children involved. Get the children involved at the beginning. So the number one thing is discuss and decide. Discuss and decide. Discuss and decide that you're going into a blended family relationship. Discuss it with your spouse to be, discuss with the children, discuss as a family before you even become a family. Here's what I recommend that my clients do. When you begin dating, don't get the children involved. When the dating begins to get more stable, you are walking towards marriage, then we begin to get the children involved. We might just take them out to eat where you are there, not in the house yet. Take them out to eat in a happy environment. Take them out to do the movies. Take them out to do something fun, depending on their age. And then we'll begin to gradually introduce the partners, begin to introduce the children. If both of you have children and you have custody, begin to introduce them gradually. And then after going out, maybe 2, 3 times, as you're going out and interacting with the children, the partner who has the children is sampling, is talking to them and finding out what's their opinion, what do they think about this guy or this lady. So when she gets a check, in other words, if they say go, if they are accepting, if they're saying, oh, he's fine, we like him, we like him, we like him for you, then we go to the next level. He comes visiting, come have a dinner at home and go. And then we are still introducing. And after the dinner at home, we go into maybe we introduce the fact that you're about to get married. What do they think? And then you talk about the parenting role. What parenting role would you, as the mother or father of the children, want your partner to take? Do you want your partner to be hands-on and act like a father and a mother and take charge as if they are? Most people would. We discussed that. We discussed discipline. We discussed all these things to make sure that when we get in, we're doing exactly what we discussed. Now, after we've talked about that, mom will talk to her kids and say, how would you want to relate with this guy that is going to marry? Do you want to call him dad? Do you want to call him father? Do you want to call him by his name? How would you want to see him? And then they will obviously tell you. If they are too young to understand, we also introduce it in a way that they can understand. So then we go into the marriage. When the person now begins to live with you, we know that the roles are talked about, discussed, and decided. That's the first one. Second thing is announce your role to the children. When you come in, have a meeting over a dinner, over a movie, in the morning, in devotion, have a meeting with the children and say, John is here now. As you all know, I'm about to marry John, or I have married John. John is going to play XY role. John might say, I'm not replacing your dad, but I want to be here to help you guys and teach you things that your dad would have taught you if he was here. But I'm not replacing your dad. Now, for some children, they want you to replace dad because dad hasn't been good. But for some children, that's their fear. You want to be my dad. And that's when we hear those things as, you're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do. Or you're not my mommy. You can't tell me what to do. It's when those roles are not clearly defined. Now, first one is we discuss, we decide. Second one is we announce your role to the children. The first thing you want to do is you know your rights. If you are a partner in a blended family, you a stepdad or a stepmom, know your role. What is your right? Know your right. What is your right? You're not the daddy. You're not the mommy. Depending again on their age, if they've had a relationship with daddy, and now that relationship is severe, you want to walk very carefully. You don't want to step in and say, I'm your daddy now. That's not going to succeed. You're going to get resistance. You're going to get rebellion. You're going to get a child that says, you're not my daddy in your face. So we have to know our rights. What's our right? Our right is to help. Until you make a demand, you're not in demand. You have to be relevant to the child's life before you say, I'm your daddy. We don't say, I'm your daddy because I married your mommy. It doesn't happen that way. Marriage does not make you a father. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's a relationship you have with mommy, not necessarily with the kids. To have a relationship with the kids, you have to be intentional. The kids have to buy into it. If they are not buying into it, then you have a problem in your hands. But I can tell you that many blended families are destroyed by children. Children in the family are very powerful, very subtle, very in your face, and there's several reasons for that. Look, if mom had been single for a while, if dad had been single for a while, just know that those two, mom and the children, have formed a bond that nobody else can break into. It takes their permission to let you into there because they've gone through stuff. They have endured stuff. They have bonded. They know each other. For you to want to crash into that, you're going to get resistance. So how do you work your way in? By being nice, by being relevant, by being by remembering what your role is. So that's three. Number four, take time to understand the children. This is done in every parenting, whether they are your stepchildren or your children. You gotta understand the chemistry of each child, the emotion of each child. Children are different. I've had clients where you have four children involved, four children of the mom, and the guy is coming in. The first child welcomes you. Second child don't care about you, whether you're there or not. They are not disrespectful, but they are not warming up to you. Third child does not want you there. Very vocal, very resistant, very rebellious, and he or she is trying to do everything possible to gather his brother, his siblings to fight against you. And they are divided, they are pulling mom here and there. And the fourth child may be out of the house. Maybe the most grown up, that's the one that would actually enforce whatever they decide. So they form this group or this caucus against you, or this unit against you. So you want to be very careful that you understand each child and minister or relate to them accordingly. The one that is grown, sit down and talk about your presence in the house. You know, your mom and I love each other. I'm not here to replace your dad. I'm not here to be what you don't want me to be. I'm here because your mom and I love each other. I would like to help however I can. I would like whatever you think I can do for you, feel free to approach me, feel free to come to me. I am here to help. That's how we begin to relate. Now, a lot of us don't want to do that, and we get into trouble. So that's number four. Number five, start with empathy and understanding. When you approach, you have to approach with a lot of caution, a lot of empathy, a lot of understanding, knowing that in a blended family situation where you're the step parent, the kids have gone through stuff. We don't become second blended because things went well. We get there because either somebody died or somebody left. So the children are mourning. They are mourning the loss of dad or mom. They are mourning the loss of previous relationship. In some instances, they are mourning the loss of home that they lost. They are mourning the relocation. In some instances, they've had to move from where they are comfortable, where they grew up, to another place. So there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of regret. There's a lot of anger. In some instances, they've watched mom and dad fight each other. They've seen domestic violence. They've seen illness. They've seen somebody sick. They've gone through funeral and burial. They feel abandoned. So this is where the children are. They are mourning. There's a lot of grief going on, whether it's the grief of something or grief of someone. So you have to understand this and approach with caution. Show a lot of empathy. Some of them might even be crying. Some may be expressing some negative emotion, maybe irritable, anger. We understand that these kids have gone through stuff. As much as they look okay, they look right, they have gone through stuff. So we must approach with empathy and with understanding. That's how we win them over. We provide support. If some of them need counseling, we provide that. If the whole family needs a professional to sit down and kind of provide guidance, we go through that. It's not easy, but it's doable. Blending family has a lot of challenges, but if we can get it right, if we do the right thing, it can be fun. It can be fun. And number six now, prioritize your marriage. Prioritize your marriage. And this is more to the partner that have the kids than the partner who does not have kids. If both of you have kids, then they should ring a bell to you that your marriage comes first. Sooner than later, these kids are going to leave. They're going to be gone. And guess what? You and your spouse will be left in the house. They will be gone. So whatever you do, protect your children, prioritize your marriage. That's easier said than done. Protect your children, prioritize your marriage. Prioritize your marriage because there will be times when you have to make a decision between the children and your marriage. If you keep choosing your children and there's that pool to choose them, if you keep choosing your children, you're going to eventually lose your marriage because your spouse will continually be the outsider because certificate or marriage license doesn't make marriage. It's a license that you're married. It's not marriage. A lot of people make that mistake of thinking once we wait, once we go through the court system or go through a reverend prays for us, we wear the gown, we do all that, we are married. No, that's just the beginning. The real marriage is what happens between husband and wife. So what you do, especially at the beginning of the blending, at the beginning of the marriage, you have to set the tone that you guys are my children. I'm going to always be here for you. I will protect you. I'm not going to leave you. But this is my husband. My husband is my husband. You can't disrespect my husband. You can't treat my husband anyhow. We are family. But just saying we are family doesn't make us family. We gradually work our way into being family. A lot of people make the mistake that by thinking that just because you're married, you have become family. You're not. Family is what we do. Family is blood. But in this case, we are not really blood. We're trying to be family. We're outsiders trying to get in. Marriage certificate and wedding doesn't mean you're in. It gives you the license to be in. It doesn't mean you're in. You're going to have to work your way in. And if you are listening to this and you're watching this and you're enjoying all this, I want you to know that this is a tip of the iceberg. In the next week, we're going to be offering a certificate course on step parenting and blended family counseling. So if you're a professional, if you're a practitioner, if this is what you do, you're a leader, community leader, you are a religious leader, you're a pastor, and you see people all the time who have been single parents and now they are getting married, that's what it is. When you're a single parent and you get married, that person you're marrying becomes a step parent. You have situations where you have to cancel them. That course is for you. If you're one who is single and you're considering that one day you might get married, that course is for you. We're going to talk about the right time to get into second marriage. Because if you have children, that is a right time, that is a wrong time, that is a very bad time to think about getting into second marriage. And if you get into it in those very bad times, chances are it's going to fail because timing is just wrong. We're going to talk about the timing in that course. So if you are a single person thinking one day I might get married or wondering when should I get married? My children are 9 years old. My children are 15-year old. My children are 3-year old. When do 3 year and above? When do I begin to get married? When is the right time? How does you getting married at a certain age of your children affect them? How does it affect your marriage? A lot of people have gotten married at the wrong time, and that has spelled disaster because disaster was there already, but you just didn't know it. So we will talk about that. It's a 2.5 hour course. We will give you all the tools either to do blended marriage or to counsel those who are doing blended marriage. I don't know if you all know this. The percentage of blended families, second marriages that fail are much higher than the first marriage. Look, when people's marriage fail, they blame on the other person. They blame marriage. But statistics shows that those who marry the second time have a higher chance of failing than the first time. So what does that tell you? It tells you that the failure comes from the people who are doing marriage. So if what led you to fail the first time is not corrected or the knowledge you lack that led to the failure of your first marriage, if you don't correct that, chances are the second will fail. Chances are the second will fail. So be forewarned, be armed, and get the information that you need to succeed. If you're watching us, please subscribe to this channel. We're going to be providing this information. It's free. Subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. We love you. We love you. And you'll get our alert where we talk about all these things, your family's mental wellness. And finally, number 7, know when to seek professional help. Know when you can do self-help. When the children begin to resist openly, call you names, you're not my daddy, there are fights. I had one client to the child pulled a gun and said he was going to shoot his mommy's husband and then call the police. The police came. He said, I don't know who this man is. He doesn't live here. We don't know him. He needs to be out. And they asked the man, do you live here? He said, yeah, that's my wife. And they said, do you have any evidence that you live here? He doesn't. He just moved in a month ago. He doesn't. All he knows is, and the wife is nowhere to be seen. He calls his wife is not picking up the phone. The police say, you gotta walk. You're not on the market. You don't have anything to show us that you live here. Your address, your driver's license shows you live somewhere else. Take a walk. Take a walk means leave the house. So he had to leave the house and call his wife. Obviously, the woman hears that she would have to panically rush back home because she knows the damage that has been done. So know when to seek professional help. Know when to seek professional help. Once he gets there, we need to get counseling. We need to get someone who does parenting issues, children issues, to advise us, to counsel us on how to deal with each other. Sometimes all that the children need to do here is to hear from somebody else that says, this is good for your mom. This can be good for you. Because if they're hearing it from mom, they think mom is compromised. Mom is sold out to this guy. Mom is making the worst mistake in the world. If they're hearing it from the guy, they say, you are the cheater. You're the one who is coming to. One of them said, we were doing okay before you came. Everything was okay. We didn't need help. We were doing fine until you came. Now you're here, there is trouble. So that's when you begin to need help. Know when to get professional help. And it's not everybody that would counsel you on blended family. Get the right help. Get someone that has experience in this so they can help you navigate through the terrain of blending families and step parents. So that's it. I'm going to round through again the keys that I mentioned. One, discuss and decide your role as a step parent. Discuss it with your partner, discuss it with the children, announce what the decision is, the role that you're going to be playing, whether it's a supportive role, a parenting role. Those are different kinds of roles that you play. I'm going to play the role of your dad. I'm going to have to discipline you sometime. I'm going to have to wake you up sometime. So those have to be something that is discussed. Number two, announce your role to the children. I've talked about that. Number three, know your rights. Number four, take time to understand each child, if there are many. Number five, start with empathy. I cannot overemphasize that. Be nice, be kind, be gentle. These kids and their mom or their dad, they've been through stuff. Whether they went through divorce, they've been through stuff. Whether they went through death and became single parents, it's tough. The journey has been rough. Be nice, recognize that. And some of these kids may be exhibiting symptoms of grief and trauma. Be nice, understand that. Number six, prioritize your marriage. If you want to succeed and survive this treacherous time, make sure your marriage is front and center. You're not compromising. One of my clients told me, he said, well, my sister told me that I need to prioritize my children. My children comes first. Okay, yeah. Your children comes first in protecting them. But your children don't come first in the family. If you really want to institute a family system, the man is the head of the household. It's a Christian family. The man has to be recognized. But as far as making sure that your children are protected, that nobody is mistreating them, they come first. They come first. Obviously, if you're doing your P's and Q's, you ought to have screened that, make that decision before the man comes into the house or the woman comes into the house. Now, this is a safe person for your children, depending on the age of your children. You have a daughter who is 14, 15, 16, then you have to say, that time to get into all that. So, but you protect your children, you prioritize your marriage. And then finally, know when to get professional help. If you need professional help, you're blending or you're thinking about it, you're thinking about going into second marriage or going into a blended family, contact us, we can help. The TIMFA Counseling Associate can help. We can help. Reach out to us, or if you are wanting to get knowledge, Next week we have a course on step parenting and blended family. That's also a first step to start for those who are thinking about it. Thank you all. We will end here. Thanks for joining us.